Its quiet movement carries the power of an entire living world. One final boundary separates us from the hidden paradise below. Below the surface, the silence becomes a doorway. A single glance from this giant makes the open ocean feel intimate.
The dolphins move with curiosity, but never disturb the giant beside them.
From the smallest school to the greatest whale, every layer follows the moving sea. The giant descends toward a depth that sunlight can barely reach. It disappears into the blue, leaving one question behind: what waits ahead? New shapes emerge from below, gliding like shadows with wings.
Their movement turns the open ocean into a silent performance.
The smallest drifting life can summon the ocean's most graceful giants. Another giant follows a trail invisible from the world above. Its enormous body is sustained by life almost too small to see. Even this immense traveler depends on the gentle abundance of the sea. The ocean hides entire feasts inside water that appears empty. Where food gathers, travelers from distant waters briefly share the same path. Their ascent promises a moment the surface will not keep secret.
For one breathless instant, the underwater world rises into the sky.
Perfect coordination turns great speed into effortless motion.
Below the fast travelers, thousands of smaller lives move as one.
A school becomes a moving illusion, built from countless individual decisions.
The familiar pod returns, guiding us toward a brighter world. Every meter forward brings the hidden reef closer. Even the strangest shape in the open ocean has a purpose.
Rest and cooperation are essential, even in a world of constant movement.
A traveler built for distance enters the path ahead. Guided by temperature and instinct, it can cross an entire ocean. A floating island offers shelter where no solid ground exists. In open water, even drifting seaweed can become a safe beginning. For a few seconds, the sea releases its travelers into the air. A new generation enters the story beneath these warm waters. The calf's first ocean is protected by the body beside it. Every gentle movement becomes part of the calf's education. Protection can be seen in the smallest change of position. Familiar companions return as the deep ocean begins to rise. The color of the sea changes, announcing a world built in sunlight. At the edge of the reef, permanent residents patrol the blue. Their presence brings tension, yet the reef remains calm. New silhouettes rise from the border between reef and open sea. Their wings carry them toward the shallow gardens ahead.
A slower traveler now carries us into the reef.
The reef opens slowly, rewarding every second of the descent. Beyond the giants, an underwater city begins to rise. The current transforms the reef into a moving river of color. Power and beauty share the same narrow passage. The reef keeps its most impressive figures just beyond each turn. A giant visitor arrives for one of the reef's most delicate services. The smallest fish perform work essential to the largest visitors. A single coral head can serve an entire community. The true scale of the reef appears only when we enter it.
Every closer view reveals another color, hidden from the surface.
Different mouths unlock different resources within the same reef. Shapes, colors, and movements divide the reef without creating conflict. Inside the moving tentacles, a smaller story is already unfolding.
Even a motionless animal can transform sunlight into life.
The reef saves some of its brightest colors for creatures only centimeters long. Trust creates one of the reef's most surprising partnerships. What looks dangerous becomes peaceful when both species benefit.
A master of disguise enters the journey without announcing itself.
Color, texture, and movement allow intelligence to become almost invisible.
Another shapeshifter takes its place above the reef floor.
Its skin becomes a moving language written in color.
The reef's signals now expand from one animal to an entire group. Silence becomes communication when the body itself carries the message. The seafloor now reveals animals that live almost entirely beneath it. The current delivers food directly to animals anchored inside the sand. The smallest secret in the reef may also be the hardest to find. The closer we look, the more completely the ocean hides its wonders. Power is waiting beneath a stone no larger than a hand. Precision, strength, and engineering meet inside this tiny animal.
The reef's smallest travelers continue the journey for us.
Thousands of unnoticed workers keep this underwater city alive. The tiny details now assemble into a world of overwhelming color. What looked peaceful from above becomes endlessly complex within. The journey has moved from the greatest animals to the smallest living details.
A hidden passage now leads toward the reef's most vibrant heart.
Every turn promises a discovery more beautiful than the last.
Beyond this passage, an entire underwater city is beginning to awaken.
What you have seen is only the entrance. The true coral paradise lies ahead.
The narrow entrance has opened into a city larger than it first appeared.
Every tower is crowded with life, yet every movement remains perfectly ordered.
The reef seems to breathe as each school rises for food and returns to safety.
A specialized mouth allows these fish to reach food hidden beyond the reach of others.
The next turn reveals a pattern so precise it appears carefully painted by the sea.
Young reef fish may wear patterns completely different from the adults they will become. The reef's largest grazers now begin work that reshapes the entire landscape.
Their powerful bites gradually turn old coral into the white sand of tropical shores.
A busy service station waits beside the route of every large reef traveler.
The grouper temporarily abandons caution because cooperation offers a greater reward. Some reef hunters rely on patience and borrowed camouflage rather than speed. Inside these moving tentacles, danger for one animal becomes protection for another. Within this small shelter, the next generation is guarded one breath at a time.
For this father, protection means carrying an entire brood within his mouth.
The reef hides some of its most elaborate colors close to the seafloor. A brief movement above the coral becomes a private signal between two hidden fish.
One partner watches for danger, while the other builds their shared home.
Their survival depends on constant communication without a single sound.
A creature smaller than a finger can vanish inside the pattern of one coral branch.
The reef rewards patient eyes with animals designed to resemble their surroundings.
Some small reef animals hide, while others advertise themselves with unforgettable color. A quiet reef crawler suddenly becomes one of the ocean's most graceful swimmers. The sunlight above is captured by living mantles spread across the reef. Even the coral itself provides shelter in exchange for constant maintenance. The current becomes a moving table for animals built to filter it.
The next partnership appears dangerous until trust becomes visible.
The moray accepts a service that removes what it cannot reach alone. Beauty and defense are displayed together in every extended fin.
Movement can expose an animal, so this fish survives by moving almost not at all.
A fish that rarely swims has learned to walk across the reef instead.
Another master of disguise enters, but this one explores with remarkable intelligence.
Every arm gathers information from the reef beneath it.
Color becomes a language, a disguise, and a warning within the same living skin.
Signals travel above an animal almost invisible against the seafloor.
One effortless movement reveals how completely the ray had disappeared. A familiar traveler returns to connect the reef with the meadows beyond. The reef and the seagrass meadow survive because animals move constantly between them. The great grazers return, reminding us that every part of this reef is connected. One of the reef's most imposing residents moves with unexpected calm.
Even the reef's largest fish must pause for the smallest specialists. Shadows with black-tipped fins patrol the brightest edge of the reef.
Different sharks occupy different layers of the same reef boundary. Familiar shapes return, making the reef feel like a world with recognizable paths. A larger visitor now returns to the reef's busiest meeting place. The reef links the smallest cleaner to the greatest traveler beyond its walls. The current now begins drawing the reef's energy toward the open ocean. Powerful fish follow the same current that carries thousands of smaller bodies. The reef's colors now give way to a moving wall of silver. Stillness above the school creates a quiet tension without disturbing the reef. While the great schools move onward, these animals spend their lives anchored to one patch of sand. A tiny burrow becomes the center of an entire life. One coral head may contain more territories than the eye first notices. The reef is filled with faces that appear only when the viewer waits. Some reef fish prefer to watch the moving world from a fixed lookout.
An unusual body shape produces movement unlike any other fish nearby. And defense remains hidden until danger makes it necessary.
Bold patterns can identify a fish before its shape becomes clear. Constant grazing prevents fast-growing algae from overwhelming the coral.
Different species now gather along the same route toward the open sea. As the light changes, the reef begins preparing for another rhythm.
As daylight weakens, new animals begin reaching into the moving water. The reef does not become quiet when daylight fades, it simply changes workers.
Familiar squid return as the reef's daytime colors begin to soften. And
as larger fish leave the basin, smaller reef animals claim the foreground.
The shaded caves are filling with fish, prepared for the coming darkness.
The reef's moving river is now carrying us beyond the coral walls.
The underwater city falls behind, but its travelers lead toward a much larger world.
Something far larger is rising beneath the school, just beyond the reef's protection. The reef has delivered us back to the giants, where the next journey will begin. Beyond the reef, voices are calling from a world with no walls. Beyond the reef, voices are calling from a world without walls. The mysterious voices now take shape as a familiar pod returns.
Only in the open ocean does the true scale of these travelers become clear.
The giant is rising, and the surface is about to reveal its power.
One breath transforms the calm horizon into an unforgettable spectacle.
The dolphins answer the whale's quiet power with effortless movement of their own.
A single movement of the tail sends energy through thousands of tons of water. A younger traveler appears, protected by a body many times its size. The calf learns the ocean by following every movement of its mother. Play is more than entertainment here. It prepares a young whale for survival. Every depth holds a different journey, yet all of them share the same moving water. A faster giant now enters, built to cross the ocean with astonishing efficiency. Its speed is hidden inside movements that appear almost effortless. Another breath marks the passage of a traveler that may cross entire oceans. The water darkens beneath a body larger than anything else alive. No camera angle can contain the full scale of the largest animal on Earth.
Its immense body is sustained by creatures almost invisible in the water.
A nearly invisible boundary concentrates the food that giants follow. As one giant descends, another voice rises from the darkness. A deep diver returns from a world where sunlight never reaches. Its breath confirms a journey that may have reached more than a kilometer below. The next descent leads into darkness, guided almost entirely by sound. Above the solitary diver, a family travels by constant communication. For these whales, survival is built around a family that rarely separates. Another social hunter crosses the same ocean highway without disturbing the family below. Coordination allows a powerful group to move through the sea as one. Their pale markings record years of life written directly across the skin.
Every scar makes the older dolphins more recognizable to those traveling beside them.
But beneath the travelers, thousands of fish turn the empty blue into living architecture.
The shape changes every second, yet the school never loses its unity.
The ocean's fastest performers arrive beside a moving river of silver. Speed becomes a form of entertainment when every turn remains perfectly controlled. For a few seconds, the open sea becomes a stage, with no audience but the horizon. Another silver highway forms ahead, drawing the journey deeper into the blue. A hidden giant rises beneath the silver current, promising the next dramatic reveal. One carefully timed movement gathers thousands of small fish without disrupting the wider sea.
After the giant passes, the silver school rebuilds itself within seconds.
These powerful fish are built to remain in motion across enormous distances. long, streamlined hunter enters the frame like a blade moving through water. The blue opens again, revealing colors that seem impossible until they move. A drifting patch of seaweed becomes a vivid meeting place in the empty ocean. The largest fish in the sea returns, following food too small to be seen from the surface. Its enormous size is supported by patience rather than pursuit. 3 silent wings join the giant along the same invisible trail of food.
Each manta carries a pattern as individual as a fingerprint.
Beneath the passing wings, one unusual traveler pauses for a necessary service. The direction changes, and the warm tropical sea begins giving way to cooler currents. Migration paths overlap briefly before each traveler follows its own destination. The color of the water announces that a new ocean habitat is approaching. Long fins and slender bodies reveal animals built for life far from land. Different sharks divide the open ocean by depth, temperature, and opportunity. A volcanic ridge gathers one of the ocean's most recognizable silhouettes. The seamount turns empty water into a gathering place for life.
One extraordinary tale makes this solitary shark instantly unforgettable.
Another giant shark survives not by chasing prey, but by filtering the sea itself. Its intimidating appearance hides one of the gentlest feeding strategies in the ocean. A rarely seen deep diver offers only a brief glimpse before disappearing again. But the deep diver leaves as coastal travelers begin guiding us toward land. Cooler currents bring new colors, new fish, and a different rhythm of movement. The open ocean is becoming shallower, and the seafloor is returning. Rock, algae, and cooler light announce the edge of an underwater forest. One final giant marks the boundary between the open sea and the coast. The blue world now transforms into a forest, moved by every passing wave. Something is moving between the trees of this underwater forest. Beyond these moving walls, an entirely different ocean kingdom is waiting. But the moving forest has hidden its first resident, inviting us farther inside. The hidden silhouette becomes a seal built to move effortlessly through this underwater forest. Curiosity brings the seal closer, but the forest remains its world, not ours. As the seal rises, a quieter community appears beneath the canopy.
The nest may appear simple, but every cleared stone represents careful work. Small grazers can determine whether this coast remains a forest or becomes bare rock. Movement almost too slow to notice can still reshape an entire seafloor community. Beneath the rock, an animal protected by one heavy shell survives the constant coastal surge. Camouflage in this forest is built from the colors of the plants themselves. Two unrelated animals disappear by borrowing the same shape and color. A fish almost identical to the forest moves only when the current conceals it. The forest opens onto a quiet nursery where patterned sharks gather above the sand.
Their calm formation reveals a coastal shark, far different from the image many people expect.
The passing shadows awaken an animal almost completely hidden beneath the seafloor. With one quiet lift, the seafloor becomes open water. A massive resident appears between the trees, moving with the authority of age. Its scars record decades spent navigating this shifting underwater forest. Even the largest fish in the forest depends on smaller partners. A predator disappears not by changing color, but by matching a reef that never stops moving. The forest canopy redirects every school like wind moving through trees. Two agile visitors transform the quiet clearing into a fluid underwater performance. Their flexible bodies turn narrow spaces into effortless pathways. Beneath the playful seal, an armored resident begins its careful journey. Touch and chemical signals guide the lobster through places where vision is limited. This crab does not merely hide beside the reef, it carries the reef upon its back. Camouflage becomes a construction project, completed one fragment at a time. Cold-water reefs create color through animals rather than coral alone. The smallest flash of color may belong to an animal hidden beneath the forest canopy. Soft-bodied grazers move quietly through places protected from the strongest surge. One kelp holdfast shelters a miniature community beneath the towering forest. The giant of the forest begins life inside a shelter formed by plants. A bonded pair occupies the same den year after year beneath the kelp. Their intimidating faces conceal a remarkably stable partnership. A far more intelligent resident is watching from beneath the next rock. The hidden watcher expands into one of the forest's most remarkable animals.
Color and texture shift together, allowing intelligence to disappear against stone.
Each arm explores independently, yet every discovery belongs to one mind.
A body without bones can enter spaces that appear impossibly small.
The forest has hidden its most intelligent resident once again. Above the hidden octopus, a river of silver enters the forest. Three powerful swimmers arrive, changing the rhythm without breaking the calm. The plants divide the chase-like movement into a graceful maze, but no strike occurs. At the surface, another guardian of the kelp forest is waiting. Four sea otters rest above the forest they help protect.
A simple tool allows the otter to reach food protected by a hard shell.
Kelp becomes an anchor that prevents resting otters from drifting away.
By limiting urchin numbers, otters help preserve the towering forest beneath them. In the deeper canyon, an ancient shark design enters the forest. These sharks move through the canyon with a body plan older than the forest itself.
Color returns to the canyon through animals fixed to rock, and one ray resting beside them.
One slow wing beat reveals the hidden landscape beneath the resting ray. The shaded wall rivals tropical reefs without a single hard coral colony. A living net reaches into the current to capture food too small to see. A transparent traveler carries a faint rainbow through the green sea. The current leads from the dark canyon into a quiet gathering of drifting life. Time appears to slow as the jellies follow the gentle rhythm of the bay.
Beyond the kelp, two small cetaceans mark the approach of evening.
Their compact bodies carry them quietly along the boundary between forest and open sea.
As daylight fades, the forest gathers every resident into one final golden view. The forest does not sleep. It exchanges one community for another. Armored walkers and soft-bodied hunters now replace the daytime fish. The evening belongs to animals that can disappear between shadow and stone. The smaller octopus has led us toward a den occupied by a far greater presence. The forest's most intelligent resident is guiding the journey into darkness. Color disappears from the water, but the octopus carries its own changing patterns. Beyond the forest begins a world ruled by camouflage, intelligence, and changing skin. A second master of disguise has appeared beyond the final kelp stalk. The forest ends, and an entire kingdom of shapeshifters begins. Ahead lies an ocean world where nothing remains the color, shape, or texture it first appears to be. The forest has ended, but the ocean's greatest masters of disguise are only beginning to appear. Every meter of seafloor gives the octopus a new surface to copy. A second shapeshifter now reveals itself above the sand. Its skin becomes a moving message written directly across the body.
In seconds, an animal in full view becomes difficult to separate from the seafloor.
Its 7 distant silhouettes now become a coordinated group of reef squid.
Color allows the group to communicate without producing a sound.
The group leaves the canyon and enters a moonlit underwater plain. A protected ledge receives the next generation of reef squid. Each quiet capsule carries a life that will soon enter the open ocean.
One octopus carries the materials for its own portable shelter.
The awkward journey becomes worthwhile when open sand offers nowhere else to hide. Intelligence transforms 2 abandoned shells into a secure refuge. A different octopus enters an exposed landscape where disguise must include movement.
The octopus does not become another animal. It copies the animal's shape and motion.
A second striped octopus reveals a different pattern and a different strategy.
Every arm searches independently, while one nervous system coordinates the whole body.
A tiny octopus carries one of the seal's clearest warning signals.
The warning appears for only a moment, allowing conflict to be avoided. The next cuttlefish abandons ordinary camouflage and walks in full view.
Its deliberate steps create one of the ocean floor's strangest performances.
Pattern now becomes courtship rather than camouflage. One body can present different messages on opposite sides at the same moment. Larger cuttlefish now gather above a rocky meeting ground.
Visual competition replaces violence across the shallow sea ridge.
The same remarkable design exists in an animal small enough to hide beside a shell.
Precision becomes more impressive as the animal becomes smaller. As the sea darkens, a nocturnal squid rises from beneath the sand. Its compact body is built for a life spent close to the bottom. A few movements erase almost every sign that the squid is present. Transparency offers camouflage where there is no rock, sand, or coral to copy.
Even body angle becomes part of the squid's disguise in open water.
A reflective surface replaces transparency as the light continues to fade. The squid controls thousands of color cells with extraordinary precision. One reflective traveler becomes part of a wider moving group. The group turns together, but every body carries an individual signal. In darker water, living light replaces the colors created by sunlight. Thousands of controlled lights turn the darkness into a living night sky. A solitary deep-sea squid carries a coiled shell hidden inside its body. Buoyancy allows this tiny animal to remain suspended far above the seafloor. This shell is not a permanent home, but a nursery created by the female herself. A fragile structure protects developing eggs in the moving open ocean. An ancient shelled relative now climbs from the darkness toward the reef.
Its chambered shell controls buoyancy through a design preserved across immense spans of time. And
three ancient travelers rise together as the night begins to weaken.
Daylight sends these nocturnal wanderers back toward the deeper reef. With returning light, camouflage becomes colorful once again. One arm explores a space the entire body does not need to enter.
Even neighboring octopuses carry identities written across different skin patterns.
The surrounding reef controls which colors become useful from one moment to the next.
The journey returns to shallow water, where squid signals shine beneath the morning sun.
every squid sends a private message while remaining part of the group.
A hidden squid rises from beneath the same sand crossed by the group above.
compact body allows this squid to remain close to shelter.
The animal disappears, but the journey continues toward deeper blue water.
The 7 squid return, creating a familiar path through the changing habitat. The journey reconnects with the giant octopus that first led us beyond the kelp. The guide returns to the seafloor, carrying the story toward another hidden community. An armored pair of eyes watches the octopus from beneath the next stone. As the octopus disappears, an entirely different body design takes control of the frame. The soft-bodied kingdom gives way to animals protected by armor.
Claws, shells, and antennae now replace flexible arms and changing skin.
Beyond the cephalopods lies a kingdom built from armor, claws, and extraordinary partnerships. The first armored giant has appeared, but countless others are still hidden ahead.
The forest has ended, but the ocean's greatest masters of disguise are only beginning to appear. Every meter of seafloor gives the octopus a new surface to copy.
A second shapeshifter now reveals itself above the sand.
Its skin becomes a moving message, written directly across the body.
In seconds, an animal in full view becomes difficult to separate from the seafloor. 7 distant silhouettes now become a coordinated group of reef squid.
Color allows the group to communicate without producing a sound.
The group leaves the canyon and enters a moonlit underwater plain. A protected ledge receives the next generation of reef squid. Each quiet capsule carries a life that will soon enter the open ocean.
One octopus carries the materials for its own portable shelter.
The awkward journey becomes worthwhile when open sand offers nowhere else to hide. Intelligence transforms 2 abandoned shells into a secure refuge. A different octopus enters an exposed landscape where disguise must include movement.
The octopus does not become another animal. It copies the animal's shape and motion.
A second striped octopus reveals a different pattern and a different strategy.
Every arm searches independently, while one nervous system coordinates the whole body.
A tiny octopus carries one of the sea's clearest warning signals.
The warning appears for only a moment, allowing conflict to be avoided.
The next cuttlefish abandons ordinary camouflage and walks in full view.
Its deliberate steps create one of the ocean floor's strangest performances.
Pattern now becomes courtship rather than camouflage.
One body can present different messages on opposite sides at the same moment.
Larger cuttlefish now gather above a rocky meeting ground. Visual competition replaces violence across the shallow sea ridge.
The same remarkable design exists in an animal, small enough to hide beside a shell.
Precision becomes more impressive as the animal becomes smaller. As the sea darkens, a nocturnal squid rises from beneath the sand. Its compact body is built for a life spent close to the bottom. A few movements erase almost every sign that the squid is present. Transparency offers camouflage where there is no rock, sand, or coral to copy. Even body angle becomes part of the squid's disguise in open water.
A reflective surface replaces transparency as the light continues to fade.
The squid controls thousands of color cells with extraordinary precision. One reflective traveler becomes part of a wider moving group. The group turns together, but every body carries an individual signal. In darker water, living light replaces the colors created by sunlight. Thousands of controlled lights turn the darkness into a living night sky. A solitary deep-sea squid carries a coiled shell hidden inside its body. Buoyancy allows this tiny animal to remain suspended far above the seafloor. This shell is not a permanent home, but a nursery created by the female herself. A fragile structure protects developing eggs in the moving open ocean. An ancient shelled relative now climbs from the darkness toward the reef.
Its chambered shell controls buoyancy through a design preserved across immense spans of time.
Three ancient travelers rise together as the night begins to weaken.
Daylight sends these nocturnal wanderers back toward the deeper reef. With returning light, camouflage becomes colorful once again. One arm explores a space the entire body does not need to enter. Even neighboring octopuses carry identities written across different skin patterns. The surrounding reef controls which colors become useful from one moment to the next.
The journey returns to shallow water, where squid signals shine beneath the morning sun.
Every squid sends a private message while remaining part of the group.
A hidden squid rises from beneath the same sand crossed by the group above. A compact body allows this squid to remain close to shelter.
The animal disappears, but the journey continues toward deeper blue water.
The 7 squid return, creating a familiar path through the changing habitat. The journey reconnects with the giant octopus that first led us beyond the kelp. The guide returns to the seafloor, carrying the story toward another hidden community.
An armored pair of eyes watches the octopus from beneath the next stone.
As the octopus disappears, an entirely different body design takes control of the frame. The soft-bodied kingdom gives way to animals protected by armor. Claws, shells, and antennae now replace flexible arms and changing skin. Beyond the cephalopods lies a kingdom built from armor, claws, and extraordinary partnerships. The first armored giant has appeared, but countless others are still hidden ahead.
The first armored giant has appeared, but the seafloor is still hiding countless others.
Long antennae allow the lobster to explore a world where visibility changes with every rock.
One solitary traveler becomes part of a migration shaped by instinct and the moving sea.
By following the animal ahead, the group crosses exposed seafloor with greater security.
A different lobster survives by becoming nearly indistinguishable from the seafloor.
Its armor is shaped for concealment rather than display.
The armored world is also built upon partnerships that cross species boundaries.
The grouper accepts a service that removes what its own body cannot reach.
One partner watches the open sea, while the other maintains their shared shelter.
Their silent communication keeps construction and security perfectly coordinated.
The most visually complex eyes in this reef belong to an animal hidden beneath one stone.
Vision, precision, and strength are concentrated inside a body small enough to disappear underground.
This crab carries living defenses instead of relying upon its shell alone. A partnership turns two tiny anemones into portable protection.
The same moving water that bends the anemone also delivers food to the crab beneath it.
Instead of changing its own color, this crab carries the colors of the reef.
Camouflage becomes a construction process, completed piece by piece.
A body shaped like the coral itself becomes nearly impossible to separate from the host. Movement briefly exposes the camouflage before the crab disappears again. Beyond the ridge, darkness has created an oasis powered by the heat of the earth.
A tiny passenger crosses the reef upon a much larger moving host.
Every species occupies a narrow distance from heat that can sustain life or destroy it. Transport and feeding are combined within one quiet partnership. These worms survive without sunlight, mouths, or conventional digestive systems. One of the reef's most striking pairs now enters the armored kingdom.
Internal bacteria convert chemical energy into the food these animals cannot gather for themselves.
Their vivid appearance conceals a highly specialized way of life.
The shrimp remain close enough to use chemical energy, but far enough to avoid lethal heat. Shelter can exist inside a forest of dangerous spines.
Hair-like structures upon the claws support bacteria that help feed the crab.
The shrimp navigate a shelter that few other animals can enter safely. A few meters of distance transform the vent from a shrimp habitat into a mussel community.
Another crab finds protection by living where movement requires perfect precision.
The mussels gain energy through microscopic partners hidden inside their tissues.
Transparency becomes the most effective camouflage upon a pale living host.
A fixed perch turns the moving sea into a continuous source of drifting food.
A body that allows light to pass through leaves almost no shadow behind. Minerals carried from beneath the crust build this chimney one fragile layer at a time. an almost weightless-looking body is perfectly adapted to life upon the thinnest branches. The plume carries heat and minerals upward, but life survives only along its cooler margins. One solitary climber gives way to thousands of tiny swimmers gathered in shadow. A temperature boundary invisible from afar organizes the entire community. The cave becomes a nursery formed from thousands of nearly transparent bodies.
The same current carries the journey from coral shadow into a sunlit sea meadow. Armored segments allow this worm to move across unstable mineral surfaces. Small cleaners work across the meadow, one blade at a time.
A larger shrimp enters the meadow with a body built for both walking and sudden swimming. One rapid tail movement turns a bottom walker into a powerful swimmer.
A finned octopus now connects the crowded oasis to the nearly empty plain beyond.
As daylight weakens, hidden shrimp begin rising from beneath the meadow.
Slow fin movements carry the octopus across a landscape divided by heat and chemistry.
Night activity begins before the last daylight has completely disappeared.
The meadow opens toward an estuary where a crab has evolved to swim.
Slow-growing coral creates shelter in water far removed from sunlight and heat.
Paddle-shaped legs allow this crab to cross water that would stop most bottom walkers. Unequal claws reveal tools adapted for different tasks.
Long arms lift the sea star above the sediment where drifting food is easier to reach. Heavy armor offers protection, but the crab still chooses shelter whenever possible.
The armored journey reaches the boundary where ocean and land exchange control. Every wave briefly changes the crab's territory from land back into sea. One oversized claw transforms communication into a visual display across the mudflat. Signals travel across the flat long before the returning tide reaches each burrow. An armored design older than the dinosaurs enters the shallow sea.
Their ancient form survives because it remains remarkably effective. Cooler water introduces a crab built for broad, sandy coastal plains. Related tube worms survive here through chemical partnerships without depending upon volcanic heat.
A shallow layer of sand turns armor into camouflage.
Different claws divide the work of crushing, cutting, and exploration.
A rare natural color variation makes one familiar body appear completely different.
The dense brine creates a chemical boundary that many pelagic animals, like these jellyfish, cannot cross.
The unusual color changes appearance, but not the animal's anatomy or behavior. Life concentrates along the narrow boundary between usable ocean water and hostile brine. Long-legged crabs now appear across a colder, deeper plain. A fish patrols the boundary without entering the chemically dangerous water below. A wide seafloor allows each crab to maintain its own path. The remains of one ocean giant become an island of life for decades.
Heavier armor now replaces the delicate legs of the snow crabs.
Specialized worms extract nutrients from bone, without a mouth or digestive tract.
Every step carries a heavily armored body across unstable ground. Tiny crustaceans recycle the remaining organic material hidden within the bones.
The silhouette from the opening now becomes the largest crab in this journey.
A larger scavenger searches the whale fall with movements designed to conserve energy.
Its extraordinary span is created by legs, not by an oversized body.
A heavy shadow approaches an oasis built from the remains of another giant.
The largest crab leads directly to one of the smallest lobster-like residents of the deep.
Slow movement allows this deep water shark to cross enormous territories with limited energy.
A fixed perch turns the slow current into a continuous source of food.
Grenadiers patrol the plain, where every edible particle is valuable. The armored journey reaches a habitat powered without sunlight.
Modified fins allow this fish to wait above the bottom instead of swimming continuously.
Bacteria growing upon the claws help sustain life beside the vent. The seafloor now falls into a trench deeper than the surrounding abyss. Shrimp gather where chemical energy replaces the sunlight of the upper sea. Increasing pressure and decreasing food reduce the number of animals with every meter. Life survives by remaining close to warmth without entering water that is too hot. Small crustaceans remain among the most successful animals in the deepest ocean. Far from the vents, a giant relative of shoreline isopods crosses the abyss.
A soft body survives crushing pressure by containing almost no rigid internal space.
In the food-poor abyss, every movement must conserve energy. Even inside the trench, a drifting jelly follows particles descending from the upper ocean. Even ancient remains become islands of energy upon the deep sea floor. Tiny moving hairs turn the weakest available light into a brief rainbow. A colony of specialized bodies drifts where no single animal could perform every task alone.
The armored community now leads toward a water column where the seafloor begins to disappear.
Long filaments explore the water below, while the squid conserves energy above the slope. The journey leaves the bottom and enters a drifting world of tiny crustaceans. A familiar finned octopus reappears in one of the deepest habitats on Earth. Each krill is small, but together they support some of the largest animals on Earth. Pale snailfish reveal how vertebrate life has adapted to the Hadal depths. A flash of living light creates a momentary shield in the darkness.
Soft bones and pressure-stable chemistry allow these fish to survive where most vertebrates cannot.
Night draws small crustaceans upward from depths that daylight keeps hidden. At this pressure and depth, the wall is shaped more by geology than by large living colonies. The armored kingdom fades beneath us as new lights appear in the ocean ahead. A rising current begins carrying the journey away from the trench. The first glowing fish have entered the darkness, but the full twilight world remains concealed. The darkness slowly weakens as the current climbs toward colder northern seas. Living lights now replace the colors that sunlight created above. One of the longest-lived vertebrates enters the current, leading toward polar water. The sea has exchanged armor for light, and the next kingdom is waiting beyond visibility. A cold water jelly marks the approach of an ocean shaped by ice. A transparent head has appeared for an instant, promising a world stranger than everything above. Ice crystals and distant voices announce a completely different world above. Every distant light may belong to an animal the surface world rarely sees. The ascent ends beneath a ceiling formed from frozen ocean.
Immense. Beyond this final glow lies an ocean world that creates its own light.
The first pulse of living light opens a world that sunlight never reaches. Beneath the ice, giants, hunters, and entire hidden gardens are waiting in the cold blue silence. The hidden giant is a bowhead whale, perfectly adapted to a sea sealed by ice. Its glow is not decoration, but a tool refined by life in darkness. And its enormous head can break through young ice when open water is scarce. Below the jelly, thousands of small fish carry patterns of light along their bodies. And a body built for cold carries the record of a very long life. One small opening can become a vital doorway for an animal that must breathe air.
A mirrored body and carefully placed lights help erase the fish's shadow from below.
A young whale begins life inside one of the harshest oceans on Earth. The strange, transparent head now reveals eyes designed to search the water above. Sound travels far beneath the ice, connecting whales separated by great distances.
Movable eyes allow the barrel eye to search above and then examine what lies directly ahead.
A pod of narwhals appears, led by one of the ocean's most unusual teeth. What appears to be one animal is actually a colony of bodies working together.
The tusk is an enlarged tooth filled with sensory connections to the surrounding sea.
Each section performs a different task, yet none can survive alone. Moving through fractured ice requires memory, communication, and precise coordination. Tiny moving hairs divide the available light into a faint, traveling rainbow. A new pod enters the under-ice world with voices among the most varied in the ocean. Another colony enters, forming a hollow living tube from hundreds of individual animals.
Flexible necks and complex calls help belugas navigate a changing frozen maze.
One signal can spread through the colony like a slow wave of living light. A ringed seal depends upon breathing holes it maintains throughout the frozen season. A rising field of small squid transforms the darkness into a moving constellation.
The seal keeps this opening usable even as the ocean surface freezes around it.
Where hiding places do not exist, transparency becomes the safest disguise. Small polar cod form a crucial link between microscopic life and the region's largest predators. One squid avoids light, while another redirects it across a reflective body. The polar food web begins with microscopic algae growing inside and beneath the ice. Thousands of controlled pigment cells allow the skin to become an active display.
Small crustaceans transfer energy from the ice itself into the wider ocean.
Its dramatic name hides an animal adapted to conserve energy rather than pursue prey.
A tiny swimming snail moves through the polar sea with the appearance of wings. A threatening shape is created to prevent conflict before it begins.
The faint rainbow is created by moving hairs, not by artificial light.
A nearly black body carries light that most other animals cannot detect.
One of the longest-lived vertebrates moves almost silently beneath the frozen ocean.
Red light allows the dragonfish to search without revealing itself to most nearby prey.
A heavy surface animal becomes surprisingly controlled once it enters the sea.
Two colors of living light give this fish a private advantage in darkness. Thousands of sensitive whiskers help the walrus locate shellfish hidden beneath the bottom. Large teeth allow the viperfish to hold rare opportunities in a world where food is scarce. A quiet bivalve bed supports animals far larger than any single shell. The intimidating face belongs to a fish shorter than many animals near the surface. Cold polar seafloors can hold gardens as complex as many tropical reefs. An expandable mouth allows the gulper eel to accept food larger than its narrow body suggests.
A living net captures drifting food without leaving its fixed perch.
A small shark crosses the darkness using light beneath its body to disguise its silhouette.
Heavy armor allows these crabs to move across unstable ground in cold water.
Some of the most numerous vertebrates on Earth live almost entirely beyond human sight.
In polar seas, some sea spiders grow far larger than their warmer water relatives.
Together, these hidden animals form a biological layer large enough to reflect sound. A strong jaw allows the wolffish to handle hard-shelled food in the cold reef. A small animal has built one of the largest and most delicate feeding structures in the open sea. The male remains beside the eggs while currents move across the exposed rock.
Continuous tail movement powers a filtration system, assembled entirely from mucus.
A global current now carries the journey away from the Arctic.
Once abandoned, the filter becomes a package of food descending toward the sea floor.
The cold current has crossed into another polar kingdom beneath Antarctic ice. A burst of living light creates confusion long enough for the shrimp to disappear. A Weddell seal can travel beneath ice that appears completely sealed. Tiny crustaceans recycle the constant rain of organic material from above.
An octopus adapted to open water replaces the rocks and dens of shallow relatives.
Transparency allows this octopus to remain visible only where solid organs interrupt the light.
Streamlined bodies and solid bones allow the penguins to dive with remarkable control.
Long filaments hang beneath a squid, known from only rare encounters in the deep. Silverfish transfer energy from plankton to seals, penguins, and whales throughout the Southern Ocean. Its unusual posture saves energy while the filaments explore the water below.
Billions of krill support one of the most productive ecosystems on Earth.
A larger silhouette passes at the edge of visibility, allowing only a brief and uncertain glimpse. A minke whale moves through narrow spaces beneath the ice with exceptional agility. Powerful clicks announce a deep diver entering a world guided by sound. One small opening connects the whale's underwater world to the air above.
Each click travels through darkness and returns with information about the unseen space ahead.
A humpback returns to the story, where cold water concentrates enormous quantities of food. Two legendary deep-sea travelers share the darkness without revealing what happens beyond our view. Another powerful family enters the polar sea, but the ocean remains calm. Near the bottom, a gentle octopus replaces speed with slow, efficient fin movements.
Orcas rely upon stable family bonds and learned behavior passed between generations.
A light touch allows the octopus to investigate the seafloor without wasting energy. A second finned octopus enters, carrying delicate sensory structures along its arms.
Despite their name, crabator seals feed mainly upon Antarctic krill.
Webbing transforms 8 separate arms into a controlled underwater surface.
A soft-bodied hunter survives freezing water through chemistry hidden within its blood. A flattened octopus rests where the abyssal plain meets the first rocky slope. Some Antarctic icefish carry nearly colorless blood through waters rich in oxygen. A body shaped for the bottom becomes unexpectedly graceful once it rises. Antifreeze proteins help these fish survive in seawater below the normal freezing point of blood.
Instead of swimming continuously, the tripod fish waits above the seafloor upon modified fins.
Cold water and slow metabolism allow some polar sea spiders to reach extraordinary size.
The current delivers information and potential food to an animal built to wait.
Large amphipods recycle scarce food across the deep Southern Ocean. Grenadiers patrol the abyss with bodies shaped for slow movement and limited food. A slow-growing sponge community creates shelter in water that remains cold throughout the year.
Despite its name, the ghost shark is a real cartilaginous fish adapted to deep water.
The Antarctic seafloor hides color that the ice above never reveals. An ancient shark design enters the canyon with 6 gill openings and 1 dorsal fin. Sea stars become important grazers and scavengers across the polar bottom. Excellent. Slow movement conserves energy while allowing the shark to cover a vast deep-sea territory. The reef appears motionless until hundreds of delicate arms begin collecting food. A flexible shark body follows the shape of the canyon more closely than the heavier species above. Two transparent animals use entirely different systems to move through the same cold sea. One of the longest-lived vertebrates moves through the cold darkness with almost no wasted motion. The largest animal on Earth returns where polar productivity can sustain its enormous body. The canyon wall transforms bare rock into a layered habitat built by slow-growing animals.
The polar feeding season ends, and migration begins toward warmer seas. A colony that may live for centuries feeds one drifting particle at a time.
Every kilometer north changes the light, temperature, and communities around the traveler.
Mineral skeletons support animals that filter the cold water continuously. Familiar dolphins return as the frozen ocean gives way to open blue water.
A branching animal turns the moving water into an enormous living net.
A tropical silhouette appears beneath the returning light, promising the final ocean paradise. The sea pig recycles the final traces of food that reach the abyss. The journey has crossed ice, darkness, and open ocean to reach the final living sanctuary. Armored scavengers and soft-bodied recyclers share the same food-poor plain. Every world we have visited is beginning to reconnect through this returning current.
The sea star raises its body above the bottom to reach food carried by the current.
Beyond this final blue gateway, every ocean kingdom will meet again.
Chemical energy begins leaking from the seafloor, creating an oasis without sunlight. Mollusks survive here through partnerships with bacteria living inside their tissues. Hair-like structures upon the claws support bacteria that help sustain the crab.
Shrimp gather within a narrow zone where temperature and chemistry remain survivable.
These worms have no conventional mouth or digestive system, depending instead upon internal bacteria. Superheated water carries minerals upward, building the chimney layer by layer. A drifting octopus links the quiet abyssal plain to this crowded chemical oasis.
Far from the vents, the remains of one giant create another temporary oasis. The empty-looking plain contains isolated islands of life, separated by vast distances. Beyond the ridge, an entire community is thriving around heat rising from the earth.
The darkness has opened onto an oasis more crowded than anything the abyss should allow.
Every ocean kingdom has led us back to this living sanctuary.
The manta becomes the first returning symbol of grace within the final ocean symphony.
The largest fish in the sea returns not as a hunter, but as a patient filter feeder. A familiar turtle guides us from the giants back toward the details of the reef.
The living city reveals its scale through thousands of small bodies moving around one traveler.
The final journey returns to a partnership small enough to fit within a single coral shelter.
The reef's great grazers quietly help create the sand surrounding this tropical sea. The final reef chapter reminds us that even powerful animals depend upon smaller partners.
Intelligence returns to the frame through an animal capable of changing both color and texture.
A second shapeshifter answers with patterns written across living skin. One body pattern becomes a conversation when 7 squid move together. Flexible bodies give way to one of the reef's most precisely armored animals. Armor, camouflage, and careful movement now complete the reef's smallest stories. One current now carries the final journey from the reef into the wider sea.
The same 12 dolphins that opened the journey return to guide its final passage.
Small and great travelers share the same route through the open ocean.
One breath and 3 brief leaps transform the sea surface into a final natural stage.
The largest animal on Earth returns for the final movement of the open ocean symphony.
Its scale cannot be understood in a single view, only through the time required for the body to pass.
One giant descends as another returns from a world guided by sound. The final journey now follows sound back into the ocean's living darkness. Thousands of small lights replace the colors created by sunlight. The transparent head returns as one of the deep ocean's most remarkable visual adaptations. One apparent animal is revealed again as a colony of specialized lives.
A dramatic appearance conceals an animal built to conserve energy rather than chase.
The final descent reaches a gentle octopus adapted to the immense pressure below. The darkness brightens with life, powered by the heat and chemistry of the Earth. A different oasis survives through chemicals leaking slowly from the sediment.
Even after death, one whale continues supporting generations of deep-sea life. The deepest fish in the journey return, where pressure excludes almost every other vertebrate. The deepest current begins lifting the final journey back toward light.
Darkness gives way once more to an ocean sealed beneath ice. The bowhead returns as a symbol of endurance beneath the frozen sea. The narwhal pod returns through a pathway remembered beneath changing ice. The voices of belugas briefly fill the frozen ocean before the current moves south. The current links 2 polar oceans and returns us to the diving emperor penguins. The penguins move above the tiny crustaceans, supporting nearly every larger animal here. The smallest abundant animals become the foundation of the polar ocean's greatest gatherings. The orca family returns as a reminder that knowledge also travels between generations. The final migration leaves the ice and follows warming water toward the forested coast. The moving forest returns, connecting polar nutrients to a rich coastal habitat.
4 sea otters return above the forest, and their feeding behavior helps preserve.
Two seals transform the forest into a fluid maze of movement. The forest's oldest resident returns, with decades recorded across its body. The intelligent guide from the forest returns for one final crossing. A river of silver now carries the final journey out of the forest. 12 dolphins guide the silver current away from the coast and back toward tropical blue. The changing light announces the final return to warm water.
The manta and whale shark reunite along the invisible trail that first brought the giants together.
The current has completed its circle and returned every traveler to the reef gateway.
The final reef view reveals that the smallest lives are as essential as the giants.
The reef begins changing shifts as daylight slowly weakens.
Armored walkers and soft-bodied explorers reclaim the reef after sunset. Once each year, countless coral colonies release the future of the reef into the moving sea. The current carries new life beyond the reef that created it. Every layer of the ocean is connected by movement, food, migration, and time.
A new day begins as the turtle rises from the sleeping reef.
The original dolphin pod returns for the final ascent toward the horizon. The hidden world below meets the open sky for one final moment. From above, every hidden path becomes part of one immense living system.
Reefs, deep channels, open water, and distant currents belong to the same ocean.
A single day passes, but the ocean's movement never pauses. The ocean's greatest wonder is not one animal, but the connection between them all. As the light disappears, the living ocean continues, connected, ancient, and endlessly waiting to be discovered. Beneath the rising turtle, two giants continue journeys far beyond the reef.
Around every giant, smaller lives find shelter, direction, and rhythm. Above the endless ocean, the greatest lives of the sea begin to reveal a hidden world below. The first wonder of the sea is scale, a silent giant moving beneath a world of light.
Now the journey leaves the sky behind and follows life into the sea. Beneath the surface, the ocean becomes a cathedral of blue light, motion, and life. Every movement from the largest life in the ocean sends a quiet rhythm through the sea. From below, the ocean reveals its true scale, where giants move like shadows of another world. The giant leads us away from the surface and toward the hidden colors of the sea. As the giants fade into the blue, the reef begins to rise like a living city beneath the ocean.
The sea paints with motion, and every fish becomes part of the living color. An ancient traveler crosses the reef, carrying the quiet memory of the sea.
Every path through the ocean is shaped by patience, current, and light. The reef is not still scenery. It is an ocean city constantly at work. Even the sand beneath the sea is filled with quiet signs of life. Together, small lives create patterns that make the ocean feel endless.
Inside the school, the sea becomes pure motion, carrying us deeper into the reef. The school becomes a pathway, leading us farther into the ocean's hidden architecture. Every tower of coral is a crowded ocean neighborhood, built by life over time. Color here is not decoration, it is the language of the reef. The reef holds secret spaces where the ocean slows down and becomes quiet. The ocean survives through small relationships that happen far from the surface. What looks like one wall is really thousands of lives holding the reef together. From every hidden corner, the reef opens again toward the wider sea. Beyond the reef wall, the ocean brings back the grace of a larger world. Some creatures seem to fly through the sea, turning the ocean itself into sky. The reef has shown its colors, but the open ocean is still calling us forward. The reef begins to fall away, and the wider ocean invites us into deeper blue. At this edge, the ocean changes mood without losing its beauty. Small fish become one living shape, turning the sea into motion. And inside the school, the ocean feels endless, alive, and perfectly connected. Beyond the reef, another gentle giant rises from the blue. The ocean's largest travelers move with a silence that makes the sea feel sacred. Around every giant, smaller lives find shelter, direction, and rhythm. From below, the sea turns a living giant into a moving constellation. The giant fades into the blue, but its path leads us back toward the living reef. From open blue back to coral color, the ocean keeps unfolding one world into another. The ocean has brought us back to the reef, where color becomes the next great discovery. Every opening in the coral leads to another chamber of life. The reef is not a single place, but a maze of living rooms beneath the sea. Among the colors, ancient travelers pause as if the ocean itself is breathing. The deeper we look, the more the ocean fills every space with life. Small lives gather into great movement, and the sea becomes a living pattern. Here, the ocean becomes a theater of color, scale, and silent motion. Everything in the reef is connected by currents too soft for the eye to measure. From sky to surface, from surface to reef, the ocean has opened the door to its hidden kingdom. Ahead lies the coral kingdom, where the ocean's colors will become even more alive. The first chapter does not end with discovery. It opens wider into the living colors of the sea. Every wall of coral becomes a doorway, and every doorway leads deeper into the ocean's design. Beneath the moving colors, the ocean floor holds quieter lives that keep the reef alive. The sea gathers small lives into shapes that feel larger than the reef itself. Inside the school, the ocean becomes a river made entirely of life. Ancient travelers pass through the reef as if they know every current by memory. The reef
the giants, and the open sea are never separate. They are one moving world. From the smallest cleaner to the largest shadow, the ocean builds wonder in layers. A single coral tower can feel like a whole ocean when every surface is alive. The ocean has shown us its entrance, and now the coral kingdom is ready to reveal its full brilliance. The coral kingdom opens wider, and the ocean turns color into living motion. Every bright surface of the sea hides a smaller world working quietly beneath it. The deeper we follow one small life, the larger the ocean becomes. In the calmest spaces of the sea, ancient travelers move as if time itself has slowed.
Life does not simply pass through the reef. It shapes the ocean with every movement.
When thousands move as one, the sea becomes a single breathing shape. The ocean connects tiny sparks of life with giants moving silently above. Even beneath the brightest reef, the seafloor holds its own quiet choreography. The ocean keeps lifting us from detail into wonder, from one hidden life into thousands more. The first chapter has opened the door, but the brightest heart of the ocean is still ahead.
The ocean draws us deeper, where every color seems to lead toward another hidden world.
Continuing through the gateway, we observe the stunning bioluminescence of the coral pillar, teeming with life as the silver spratfish.
The reef hides its wonders in chambers, and each chamber opens like a secret beneath the sea. Even the quiet floor of the ocean is filled with movement, patience, and design. From the sea floor to the open water, the ocean is always rising into motion.
Through the living cloud, an ancient traveler appears again, carrying the calm rhythm of the reef.
The reef, the turtle, and the open sea move together as one long breath.
Every layer of the ocean leads the eye forward, from small color to giant shadow.
This living amphitheater is only the beginning of the ocean's deeper brilliance.
Ahead, the ocean's coral kingdom waits in full color, ready to pull us even deeper. The ocean pulls us deeper, where color gathers into a living cathedral beneath the sea.
From far away it looks like beauty, but up close the ocean becomes endless work.
Every passage beneath the sea feels designed to lead the eye toward another wonder.
The reef does not reveal everything at once. The ocean opens it layer by layer.
An ancient traveler crosses the chamber, carrying the patience of the sea through the reef. The ocean's calmest moments are filled with lives that never stop moving. When thousands move together, the sea becomes a single, shimmering breath. Above the reef, the ocean gives space to giants, while the colors continue below. The ocean keeps moving between grand scale and hidden detail, never losing its rhythm.
The first chapter keeps widening, and the ocean's brightest kingdom is still waiting ahead.
The ocean's brightest kingdom begins to rise ahead, pulling every current toward color. From a distance, the reef is breathtaking. Up close, the sea becomes infinite.
One small fish can lead us into a chamber the ocean has kept hidden.
Beneath the coral colors, The ocean floor carries its own quiet life. The sea lifts the smallest lives upward until they become a shining cloud. Through the living cloud, an ancient traveler returns, slow and steady in the ocean light. The turtle moves between the reef and the open sea as if both are one breath. Every layer of the ocean leads forward, from tiny color to giant shadow. This living amphitheater is only the entrance to the ocean's deeper brilliance. Ahead, the ocean's coral kingdom waits in full brilliance, ready to carry us into the next chapter. The first doorway has opened, and the ocean now leads us toward its brightest kingdom. Every color in the sea is alive, and every surface holds another hidden story. The ocean does not reveal itself all at once. It invites us deeper, one chamber at a time. Even the quiet floor of the sea is part of the reef's living heartbeat. From the smallest lives, the ocean creates movement vast enough to fill the blue. Between the tiny school and the ancient traveler, the sea shows every scale of wonder. The reef carries every traveler forward, from bright shallows toward a deeper kingdom of color. The opening journey has shown us giants, reefs, and hidden life, but the heart of the ocean is still ahead. This living amphitheater is the final gate of our beginning, a bridge from wonder into full discovery. Part 1 ends at the doorway. Ahead, the ocean's coral kingdom begins to shine in its full brilliance. Now the ocean opens its coral kingdom, where color, shelter, and life become one. Every tower of coral is a living city built slowly beneath the sea. The closer we move, the more the ocean turns beauty into detail. One small fish can guide us into a chamber the sea has hidden from above. Beneath the coral colors, the ocean floor holds a quieter rhythm of life. The smallest lives gather into motion, and the sea becomes a shining current. Through the silver cloud, an ancient traveler returns to the heart of the reef. The turtle moves through the coral kingdom as if every current knows its path. Here, the reef becomes a kingdom of layers, each one alive with movement. The coral kingdom is only beginning to unfold, and the ocean still holds deeper colors ahead. Deeper inside the coral kingdom, the ocean becomes richer, brighter, and more alive. The ocean's brilliance is built by lives almost too small to see. Each doorway in the reef reveals another secret room beneath the sea. Even below the colors, the ocean floor continues the story in silence. The sea turns tiny bodies into one great moving light. Through motion, the ocean guides us from one living scene to the next. The reef's colors are not still. They move, feed, hide, and return. Above the coral kingdom, the ocean still carries the grace of giants. From shadow to color, the sea connects every layer of life. The coral kingdom stretches farther ahead, and the ocean's living colors are still unfolding. The ocean's colors continue to unfold, revealing a kingdom built from movement and light. The closer we look, the more the sea turns color into countless living details. One small fish can lead us deeper into the ocean's secret architecture. Beneath the bright coral, the ocean floor keeps its own quiet rhythm. The sea gathers its smallest lives into a shining cloud that moves as one.
Through motion, the ocean leads us from hidden detail into wider beauty.
Every current in the reef carries color, food, shelter, and direction. Above the reef, the ocean still makes space for giants moving in silence.
The shadow of a giant passes over thousands of smaller lives, all connected by the same sea.
The coral kingdom keeps expanding, and the ocean still has more hidden chambers to reveal. The coral kingdom leads us inward, where the ocean hides its most delicate rooms. Inside each hidden chamber, the sea becomes quieter, closer, and more alive. The ocean's smallest workers keep the kingdom shining from within. The reef guides us from one living doorway to the next. Even the quiet sand beneath the sea belongs to the living kingdom. From the floor of the ocean, life rises into motion like a cloud of light. The sea moves us from hidden detail into a wider field of color. Across the coral valley, the ocean brings ancient travelers back into view. The turtle carries the calm of the reef through a kingdom always in motion. The coral kingdom breathes through every layer, and the ocean still opens farther ahead. The coral kingdom has shown its layers, but the ocean is still guiding us beyond the reef. Before the reef falls behind, the sea reminds us that every detail here is alive. The final chambers of the reef glow like memories the ocean asks us to carry forward. Even at the edge of the kingdom, the ocean floor continues its quiet work. The reef sends its smallest lights upward, preparing the sea for a wider journey. Beyond the colors of the coral kingdom, the open sea begins to call again. The turtle follows the current from shelter toward the vast ocean beyond. The reef has been a kingdom of color, but the open ocean holds the giants of the next chapter. As the coral fades behind us, a larger shadow begins to rise from the blue.
Part 2 leaves the coral kingdom behind, and ahead, the open ocean reveals its gentle giants.
Before the giants fully appear, the reef sends one final wave of life into the open sea. The coral kingdom does not end suddenly. It fades slowly into the wider ocean. Even at the edge of the reef, the seafloor continues its quiet choreography. The reef lifts its smallest lights into the blue, as if preparing the ocean for something larger. The turtle becomes our guide from the colored reef into the calm blue distance. Behind us, color. Ahead, scale. Between them, the ocean carries every life forward. The open ocean begins to replace the reef with space, silence, and enormous grace.
At this boundary, the coral kingdom becomes memory, and the sea ahead becomes possibility.
The reef releases us gently, letting the current carry us toward the giants. Part 2 closes as the coral kingdom fades, and ahead, the open ocean prepares to reveal its gentle giants. The reef falls behind like a memory, and the ocean ahead begins to grow larger. Beyond the coral kingdom, the sea becomes quieter, wider, and filled with expectation. Even where the reef begins to disappear, the ocean still carries traces of its color. The small fish leave the reef in waves, carrying its rhythm into the open sea. The turtle moves between worlds, leaving color behind and entering the quiet blue. Behind us lies shelter. Ahead waits scale, silence, and the calm power of giants. The ocean opens vertically now, with life moving above, below, and far ahead. In the open sea, even distance feels alive, and every shadow carries promise. The coral kingdom has almost vanished, but its life continues forward through the current. The ocean has carried us from color into vastness, and the gentle giants are now waiting ahead. The ocean has left the reef behind, but every current still carries its life forward. The small fish become a bridge between the coral kingdom and the giants of the sea.
Even at the edge of the reef, the ocean leaves no life behind.
The reef disappears from sight, but its rhythm continues inside the moving school. The turtle becomes a quiet guide, moving between the memory of color and the promise of scale. In the open ocean, distance becomes part of the wonder. The ocean has become larger than the frame, and every shadow ahead feels alive. Food, light, and movement gather here, drawing the giants closer without sound. The ocean asks us to wait, because true scale is revealed slowly. The coral kingdom has given way to the open ocean, and the giants are almost ready to emerge. The reef has disappeared behind us, and now the ocean begins to reveal its quiet giants. The smaller lives lead the way, turning the open sea into a path of light. The ocean becomes quieter here, as if every current is making room for scale. The sea reveals its giants in pieces through motion, light, and patience. A gentle giant takes form in the blue, carrying the calm power of the open ocean.
The open sea is a world of layers, where giants move above, below, and beyond us.
The farther we travel from the reef, the more the ocean replaces color with wonder. The giant waits in the blue, not as a threat, but as an invitation into the next world. The coral kingdom has ended behind us, and the open ocean is ready to begin its chapter of giants. The open ocean is no longer a distant promise. It is beginning to surround us. The small fish guide us through the blue, as if they know where the giants will appear. Without the reef behind us, the sea feels larger, deeper, and filled with quiet power. The sea hides and reveals its wonders through motion, never giving everything away at once. A gentle giant forms out of the blue, carrying the silence of the open ocean. In the open sea, the largest lives move with the softest rhythm. The ocean builds its wonder in layers, from drifting plankton to giants above and below. The farther we travel, the more the sea replaces color with scale. The giant is close now, and the ocean seems to slow around its presence. Part 2 leaves us at the edge of vastness, where the gentle giants of the ocean are ready to take the story forward. The ocean has left the reef behind, but every current still carries its life forward. The small fish become a bridge between the coral kingdom and the giants of the sea. Even at the edge of the reef, the ocean leaves no life behind. The reef disappears from sight, but its rhythm continues inside the moving school. The turtle becomes a quiet guide, moving between the memory of color and the promise of scale. In the open ocean, distance becomes part of the wonder. The ocean has become larger than the frame, and every shadow ahead feels alive. Food, light, and movement gather here, drawing the giants closer without sound. The ocean asks us to wait, because true scale is revealed slowly. The coral kingdom has given way to the open ocean, and the giants are almost ready to emerge.
Part 3 begins in the open ocean, where giants move with the calm power of the sea.
The largest travelers in the ocean move without hurry, carrying entire worlds around them. From below, the sea turns a gentle giant into a moving sky. The giant leads us deeper into blue water, where the ocean becomes pure distance. Above the blue, other giants appear, moving through the sea as if flying through light. The open ocean is layered with quiet giants, each one moving in its own ancient rhythm. Between the smallest particles and the largest shadows, the ocean becomes one living system.
Even the smallest fish can shape the open sea into patterns of astonishing beauty.
The open ocean adds another rhythm, swift, graceful, and alive in the light. From giants below to swift travelers above, the open ocean is only beginning to reveal its scale. The open ocean reveals movement at every height, from swift travelers above to silent giants below. Speed in the sea can still feel peaceful when every movement belongs to the current. From below, even the swiftest animals become silhouettes of grace against the light. The fish lead us back downward, where the giants keep the ocean's slower rhythm. The open sea holds many speeds, but the giant carries the calmest one. Around one gentle giant, the ocean gathers small lives into a moving constellation. Some giants seem to fly, turning the ocean into a sky made of blue water. A shadow passes, and the small fish answer with one perfect turn. The open ocean is not empty space. It is a layered world of motion, scale, and light. Beyond these giants, the ocean still stretches farther, and more shadows are waiting in the blue. Farther into the open ocean, the blue begins to reveal even larger lives. The journey moves from one giant to another, guided only by fish, light, and current. In this deeper blue, size appears slowly, as if the ocean is shaping it from shadow. The ocean's giants do not rush. They let the sea move around them. Beside a giant, the ocean feels older, wider,
and filled with quiet strength. From below, the giant becomes a moving horizon inside the sea. One slow movement from a giant can shift the rhythm of everything nearby. The open ocean holds speed and stillness together, each one balanced by the current. Here, the ocean becomes a vast living map, written in movement, shadow, and light. The giants have shown their scale, but the open ocean still carries us toward deeper blue. The giants fade into memory, but the ocean continues to draw us deeper into blue. In deeper water, the sea speaks more softly, but every movement feels larger. The open ocean changes mood slowly, trading brightness for depth. Even here, far from the reef, small lives still write bright lines through the sea. The school opens like a curtain, and the ocean beyond feels endless. The farther we travel, the more the sea becomes silence, space, and expectation. Above us, light still lingers. Below us, the ocean begins another story. The last bright fish lead us toward the edge of a deeper ocean. The sea grows darker, but its mystery remains gentle, alive, and waiting. Beyond the giants, the ocean prepares to reveal a quieter and deeper world. Beyond the giants, the ocean becomes quieter, and every small light begins to matter. Here, the sea no longer dazzles with color. It draws us in with silence. The smallest lights in the ocean become stars in a world without sky. The journey that began with giants now follows smaller lives into the deeper blue. The ocean changes its texture here, bending light as it carries us farther down. In deeper water, life becomes softer, stranger, and more carefully hidden. The deeper sea does not need bright color. It creates wonder with glow, shape, and silence. The surface has almost vanished, yet the sea remains alive with quiet signals. Every fading light leads to another, and the ocean keeps opening below. The giants have led us here, but now the ocean's hidden lights will guide us forward. The open ocean has carried us beyond the giants, into a world guided by light too small to see from above. Here, the sea no longer shines from the sun, it begins to shine from life itself. The deeper ocean writes its map in small pulses of light. In the quiet sea, even a fragile pulse can feel like a signal from another world. The ocean's colors have not vanished. They have become softer, stranger, and hidden inside the dark. The farther down we travel, the more the ocean replaces shape with glow. Small bodies in the dark carry their own lamps through the sea. Above us, the bright ocean fades. Ahead, the hidden ocean begins to glow. The darkness is not empty. It is filled with signals, drifting bodies, and quiet life. The giants have vanished behind us, and the ocean now leads us toward its secret world of light. The ocean's secret world begins not with darkness, but with the smallest lights of the sea. In the deeper sea, every small glow becomes a guide through the blue.
The ocean hides color inside the dark, waiting for the right light to reveal it. Here, the ocean moves slowly, as if every creature is listening to the dark. Life here depends on what drifts through the ocean, falling slowly from worlds above. The sunlight is gone now, but the sea has learned to make its own stars. In this darkness, the ocean speaks through brief flashes and hidden movement.
The deeper path is gentle, but it leads toward one of the ocean's least seen worlds. Small lights gather together, and the hidden ocean begins to feel like a living constellation. The open ocean has given us giants, but the deep sea now offers a quieter kind of wonder. The deep sea begins softly, with falling particles, hidden lights, and lives that move almost without sound. Every glow becomes a guide, and every guide leads farther from the world of sunlight. Here, the ocean turns fragility into light and silence into movement. The colors of the reef have changed form, becoming hidden flashes inside the dark. The deep ocean is not empty. It is a slow rain of life, falling and rising through darkness. Even in darkness, the sea has patterns, pathways, and quiet communities. The ocean no longer shows everything clearly, but it reveals enough to keep wonder alive. The deeper path is darker, yet the ocean continues to place small lights ahead of us. The sea is guiding us with light, made by life itself. Part 3 has moved from giants into hidden light, and the deep ocean is still pulling us farther down. The deep sea begins softly, with falling particles, hidden lights, and lives that move almost without sound. Every glow becomes a guide, and every guide leads farther from the world of sunlight. Here, the ocean turns fragility into light, and silence into movement. The colors of the reef have changed form, becoming hidden flashes inside the dark. The deep ocean is not empty. It is a slow rain of life, falling and rising through darkness. Even in darkness, the sea has patterns, pathways, and quiet communities. The ocean no longer shows everything clearly, but it reveals enough to keep wonder alive. The deeper path is darker, yet the ocean continues to place small lights ahead of us. The sea is guiding us with light, made by life itself. Part 3 has moved from giants into hidden light, and the deep ocean is still pulling us farther down.
The deeper ocean pulls us gently downward, where life becomes softer, stranger, and lit from within. Every glowing particle becomes a signpost in a world where sunlight no longer reaches. The colors of the surface have not disappeared. They have become hidden inside the dark. In this quiet chamber, the ocean feels less like a place and more like a breathing dream. Small lights gather in the dark, forming quiet communities where the sea seems endless. The deep ocean never shows everything at once. It reveals wonder in brief flashes. Below this twilight, the ocean begins to trade open space for hidden signals. The sea keeps placing small lights ahead, guiding us from one mystery to the next. The giants are behind us now, and the ocean's hidden lights have become the only guide. Ahead, the deep ocean waits with a quieter beauty, and the journey is still descending. The deeper the ocean becomes, the more its beauty depends on patience, darkness, and light. In this hidden sea, even the smallest glow can become a path. The colors of the ocean have become quieter now, hidden inside fragile moving bodies. The deep sea feels silent, but every pulse is part of its hidden language. What falls through the ocean feeds a world that almost never sees the sun. In darkness, the ocean organizes life through signals, distance, and gentle motion. The deeper ocean does not show everything clearly, yet it never stops revealing life. And the ocean keeps placing small lights below us, as if inviting the journey farther down. The sea is guiding us not with sunlight, but with life creating its own glow. Ahead, the deep ocean is no longer just darkness. It is becoming a universe of quiet light. Part 4 begins where sunlight has vanished, and the ocean creates its own quiet universe of light. In the deep ocean, every small glow becomes a signal of life. The colors of the reef have returned in another form, hidden inside the darkness. Here, fragility becomes light, and the sea turns silence into motion. The deep sea is not empty darkness. It is a slow-moving world of hidden signals. The ocean places a river of light below us, guiding the journey farther into the unknown. In this hidden ocean, light is not decoration. It is a language of survival. The deeper world moves slowly, but every pulse carries meaning. Small lives gather in the dark, building a quiet aquarium and the surface we'll never see. The deep ocean has opened its first chamber, and a stranger world of light is still waiting ahead. The deeper ocean waits ahead, not with fear, but with quiet lights guiding every current. In this world, the smallest bodies carry the brightest messages. The deep sea turns fragile motion into a language of light. Every pulse in the darkness feels like a heartbeat of the ocean itself. And what falls from above becomes food, shelter, and rhythm for life below. The ocean makes a path from light, and every creature follows it in silence. The colors here are quiet, hidden inside bodies that seem almost made of water. The deeper valley does not frighten the eye. It invites it to search for light. In the hidden ocean, small lights gather not randomly, but in patterns shaped by the sea. This hidden aquarium of the deep is still opening, and the ocean's quiet lights are leading us onward. The deep ocean continues to open, and every quiet light reveals another layer of life. In this hidden sea, light is not loud. It whispers directions through the dark. Some lives here seem almost invisible, shaped from darkness, water, and faint light. The deeper world moves like a dream, but every pulse belongs to real life. What falls through the ocean becomes the slow heartbeat of the deep. Small lights gather together, turning the dark sea into a moving constellation. The ocean hides its structure in darkness, but the lights reveal its hidden order. Below Below this chamber, the sea forms another path from light, shadow, and slow movement. The deep ocean keeps guiding us forward, not with sound, but with living sparks. The deeper we travel, the more the ocean becomes a universe built from silence and light. In this quiet universe of the ocean, every small light becomes a world of its own. The deep sea writes its path in particles, pulses, and fragile drifting bodies. Some lives in the ocean are almost transparent, yet they carry the mystery of the deep within them. The ocean has changed from color to glow, but its beauty has only become more mysterious. But what falls through the sea becomes a slow offering to life hidden far below. In darkness, the smallest fish become moving stars, guiding the sea through itself. The deep ocean does not need bright sunlight to feel alive. Below this chamber, the ocean opens another valley, where light becomes the only map. The hidden sea keeps leading us forward, one soft glow at a time. The deep ocean is still opening, and its quiet lights are carrying us toward an even stranger world. The stranger world begins with forms so delicate, they seem drawn by the ocean itself. In the deep sea, even a drifting line of life can feel larger than imagination. The ocean hides its brightest colors inside creatures almost too fragile to touch.
Some deep ocean lives are nearly invisible, as if the sea has made them from silence.
In darkness, even the faintest outline becomes a revelation. The deep ocean builds its aquarium from drifting chains, soft pulses, and living glass. Everything falling through the sea becomes part of a hidden world still moving below. The sea continues to guide us with small lights, each one pointing toward another hidden layer. The deeper ocean is not a void. It is a universe of quiet lives suspended in blue darkness. The ocean's quiet universe is still unfolding, and its deepest lights are waiting farther ahead. Farther ahead, the ocean's deepest lights begin to gather like stars beneath the sea. The deeper the sea becomes, the more life speaks through fragile flashes. In the hidden ocean, one drifting body can become an entire line of living light. The deeper world is strange, but its beauty remains gentle, balanced, and alive. What falls from above becomes a quiet river of life far below. The sea keeps turning darkness into pathways, and every pathway leads to another hidden chamber. This hidden aquarium has no walls, only drifting life suspended in endless blue. The deep ocean moves with invisible currents, shaping every light into a quiet pattern. Ahead, the lights grow fewer, but each one feels more important. The ocean has shown its quiet lights, but the deepest mystery is still waiting beyond the dark. Beyond the darker water, the ocean keeps its deepest wonders hidden in silence. Even here, where light is rare, life leaves a path for the eye to follow. Some lives are so clear that the ocean seems to be dreaming through them. The deep ocean builds beauty from lines, pulses, and fragile shapes suspended in water. What falls from the ocean above becomes the quiet fuel of life below. The deeper sea moves slowly, but every glow is part of a living conversation. This hidden sea valley has no walls, only darkness, drifting life, and quiet light. Invisible currents shape the darkness, arranging every light into a pattern only the ocean understands. The lights grow fewer now, but the ocean makes each one feel like a doorway. The deep ocean has become a world of hidden signals, and its final chamber is still ahead. The final chamber of this deep ocean world waits beyond the smallest lights. Where sunlight cannot reach, the ocean still finds a way to draw a path. Some lives are nearly invisible, yet the sea reveals them with a single edge of light. This hidden chamber is built from drifting lines, fragile bodies, and quiet pulses. Everything falling through the ocean becomes part of a deeper rhythm of survival. The deep sea speaks through flashes, and every flash belongs to a living signal. The deeper ocean has no walls, only drifting life suspended inside endless blue darkness. Invisible currents arrange the darkness into patterns only the ocean understands. The lights grow fewer now, but the ocean makes each one feel like a doorway. The deep ocean has shown its hidden lights, and one final passage still waits ahead. One final passage opens ahead, where the ocean gathers its quiet lights into darkness. Where the sea becomes darkest, even the smallest glow begins to feel immense. Some lives in the ocean are revealed only when darkness gives them shape. This chamber feels endless, built from drifting lines, fragile light, and silent motion. What falls through the ocean becomes a slow offering to the lives hidden below. The deep sea does not speak loudly. It answers through flashes, pulses, and drifting life. Invisible currents arrange the ocean's darkness into patterns no surface world can see. 2. The final passage grows darker, but the ocean still leaves enough light to follow. The hidden ocean has shown its quiet universe, and now its deepest chamber waits just ahead. The deepest chamber opens slowly, and the ocean fills it with silence, darkness, and light. In this hidden ocean chamber, every small glow becomes a direction. The deep sea builds wonder from forms that seem too fragile to survive. Here, the ocean turns invisible bodies into moving pieces of light. Everything falling through the sea becomes part of a hidden rhythm that keeps this world alive. The ocean does not stop revealing itself. It simply speaks more softly the deeper we go. This valley is an aquarium without glass, held together only by darkness, current, and life. Invisible currents shape the chamber, arranging every light into a pattern only the ocean can read. The lights are fewer now, but the ocean makes each one feel more alive. The deep ocean has shown us a universe of quiet light, and its final passage is beginning to open. The final passage of the deep ocean opens with only a few lights, but each one carries the memory of this hidden world. Now the deep sea begins to lift us, carrying its quiet lights toward a brighter current. The darkness does not end suddenly. It opens slowly, revealing the next color of the ocean. These final lights feel like a farewell from the deep, gentle, silent, and alive. Beyond the deep chamber, the ocean begins to widen again, and life returns in larger shapes. The hidden lights of the deep have guided us back toward motion, color, and open water. The deep ocean leaves us with wonder, and ahead the sea begins to gather color once more. The darkness has not disappeared. It has become the background that makes every color feel alive.
Part 4 closes as the deep blue world releases us back into color, movement, and the great aquarium flow of the ocean. The deep ocean has shown its secret universe. Next, the best 8K Ultra HD aquarium flow begins in full motion.
The turtle carries the reef's calm into the moving blue, where every current feels alive.
The ocean opens again, joining graceful shadows above with floating light below.
From above and below, the ocean layers its beauty into one endless moving vision.
The fish form a doorway of motion, and beyond it the reef glows with another world of color. The reef becomes a stage of endless motion, where every color seems carried by the current. The brightest flow is still unfolding, and the ocean is ready to carry us into another breathtaking layer. Another breathtaking layer opens ahead, where the ocean gathers shadow, light, and motion into one flowing vision. The current bends the fish toward color, and the reef answers with thousands of small movements. Below the open blue, the reef becomes a living pattern of color, texture, and rhythm. The reef opens another natural doorway, and the turtle waits beyond it like a quiet guide. The turtle moves through the ocean with ancient calm, carrying the reef's beauty into the wider blue. The fish open like a living curtain, and the ocean becomes wider, calmer, and more magnificent. Above, the rays move like shadows of grace. Below, the reef keeps glowing with life. The fish become a doorway of motion, and beyond them the reef returns in full color. The reef bowl gathers every color into motion, as if the ocean is painting with living light.
The ocean lifts us from the reef again, and another grand layer of aquarium beauty begins to unfold.
A grander layer of the ocean opens now, where every depth moves with its own gentle rhythm. The fish lead us back toward color, and the reef rises like a living answer beneath the sea. Every reef shelf holds another rhythm, and every rhythm becomes part of the ocean's flow. The canyon opens gently, and the turtle returns as a calm guide through the moving blue. The turtle moves with ancient patience, while the sea around it keeps rushing with light. The fish open like silver curtains, and the ocean reveals another chamber of peaceful scale. The rays glide like silent wings, and the ocean gathers every layer into one living panorama. The silver spiral becomes a doorway, and beyond it the reef returns like a burst of living color. The reef gathers motion from every side, turning the ocean into a living gallery of color. The flow rises once more, and the ocean prepares another breathtaking passage of light, color, and motion. The ocean opens another passage, where light, color, and motion flow as one living design. The fish guide us downward, and the reef answers with a burst of living color. The closer we move, the more the ocean reveals tiny details inside the grand flow. Beneath the reef ledge, the sea feels sheltered, yet the open blue is always calling ahead. The turtle moves through the flowing sea, like a calm memory passing through color. Above the turtle, the silver school bends like light, and the wider ocean begins to open again. Every crossing school adds another layer, turning the sea into a moving work of art. The reef gathers color from every direction, and the ocean carries it forward without pause. Around each coral pillar, the current writes a new pattern of life and light. The passage of color and motion continues, and the ocean is ready to reveal an even wider living panorama. The living panorama widens, and the ocean fills every layer with motion, light, and calm. The fish guide the eye back toward the reef, where color rises again from the blue. Inside the grand ocean flow, the smallest reef details still carry their own quiet rhythm. The reef opens another passage, and the turtle returns like a peaceful guide through the current.
The turtle carries stillness through the moving sea, balancing the rush of fish with ancient calm.
Above and below, the ocean moves in layers, each one flowing at its own perfect pace. The silver school opens like a living curtain, and the reef returns in brilliant color. Around the coral tower, the current turns color into movement, and movement into harmony. The reef releases us again, and the open ocean gathers every ribbon of life into a wider flow. The panorama keeps expanding, and the ocean is still carrying us toward its brightest flowing horizon. The brightest horizon of the ocean opens ahead, and every layer of the sea moves toward it together. The fish curve back toward color, guiding the eye from open water into the reef's living brilliance. Inside the flowing ocean, the reef holds thousands of small colors moving with quiet purpose. The turtle appears beneath the silver wave, steady and calm as the ocean moves around it. The turtle brings stillness into the rush, reminding us that the sea has many kinds of motion.
The fish open the view again, and the ocean becomes wide, graceful, and alive in every direction. From the rays above to the reef below, the ocean layers beauty into one endless moving picture.
The silver spiral becomes another doorway, and the reef beyond it shines with living color. The reef valley gathers every color into motion, turning the ocean into a living field of light. The brightest flowing horizon is still ahead, and the ocean keeps carrying us toward an even larger vision. The larger vision of the ocean opens before us, where every layer moves as one living masterpiece. The fish guide the eye from endless blue back into the reef's brilliant world of color. Within the grand ocean flow, the smallest reef details still shine with quiet purpose.
The turtle appears beneath the silver arc, bringing stillness into the ocean's rushing beauty. The turtle moves with ancient calm, while the entire sea flows around it in shimmering motion.
The silver curtain opens, and the ocean becomes wider, brighter, and more alive. Above, the rays glide in silence. Below, the reef continues glowing like the heart of the sea. The spiral of fish becomes a doorway, and beyond it the reef returns in full living color.
The amphitheater of coral gathers color from every direction, turning the ocean into a flowing celebration of life.
The ocean's grand vision keeps expanding, and ahead the flow is ready to become even more luminous.
The ocean's final piece is not empty. It is filled with life, moving gently through light. Part 6 begins as the ocean slows into peace, carrying every color and movement toward a quiet final harmony.
The final horizon is drawing closer, and the ocean is carrying every living motion into peace.
After the grand flow, the ocean now speaks more softly, with every fish moving like a quiet breath.
The final horizon comes closer, and the ocean gathers every movement into a softer calm. The reef returns one last time, not as a spectacle, but as a quiet home filled with life. The fish no longer rush through the sea. They drift as if listening to the quiet current. In the final light, even the smallest fish seem to carry the memory of the whole journey. The reef appears like a final memory, glowing quietly beneath the open ocean. The turtle appears again, a quiet traveler, guiding the ocean toward its final calm. In the final calm, every small fish seems to carry a piece of the journey. The turtle carries the calm of the reef into the open blue, where the ocean begins to rest.
The turtle returns in the final light, steady as the ocean becomes quiet around it.
Above and below, the sea holds every life in balance, as if the whole ocean is breathing slowly. The turtle moves without urgency, as if guiding the sea toward rest.
The rushing schools have softened into gentle lines, and the sea begins to feel endless and still.
Every layer of the ocean now moves as one slow breath. The ocean has shown its power, its color, and its mystery. Now it shows its peace. The reef becomes a memory behind us, and the open sea becomes a peaceful, endless path. The final chapter is only beginning, and the ocean is carrying us deeper into stillness. The ocean's silence is filled with life, but every life now moves gently through peace.
The ocean carries us deeper into stillness, where every movement becomes softer than before.
The horizon is almost here, and the ocean is preparing its final quiet wonder. The schools no longer rush. They drift like quiet thoughts through the sea. The ocean prepares its final quiet wonder, where every living motion becomes part of peace. The reef appears again in the final light, calm, familiar, and full of quiet life. The fish drift like soft notes in the sea, each one fading gently into the final calm. In this quiet reef, every small movement feels like a memory of the journey. The reef appears once more, soft and familiar, like a final memory glowing beneath the ocean.
The turtle returns like a final guide, carrying the ocean's peace through the fading light.
Nothing rushes now. Every small movement seems to thank the sea for carrying it. The turtle moves forward without urgency, as if the whole sea has learned to rest. The turtle returns like the final guide, steady beneath the quiet light of the ocean. Every layer of the ocean now moves slowly, held together by the same quiet current. The turtle carries the last colors of the reef toward the open stillness ahead. The reef fades behind us, but its color remains in the calm of the sea. Every layer of the ocean now feels connected by the same quiet breath. The ocean becomes quieter now, not empty, but deeply alive beneath the silence. The reef is behind us now, but its beauty remains inside the calm of the sea. The final ocean horizon is still ahead, and its silence is becoming more beautiful with every frame. The ocean's final wonder is not a single sight, but the feeling of life becoming peaceful. The ocean grows quieter with every frame, and its silence begins to feel like a final gift. The final horizon is nearly within reach, and the ocean is slowing into its deepest peace. The fish move gently now, as if the whole sea is remembering the journey. The ocean slows into its deepest peace, where every current feels gentle and every life moves softly. The reef returns softly, not to astonish us, but to remind us that peace is also full of life. The fish drift without urgency, as if the sea has taught them the meaning of stillness. Every small movement in the sea now feels slower, softer, and more complete. The reef appears softly again, carrying the last colors of the journey inside the calm. The turtle appears once more, carrying the quiet patience of the ocean through the final light. In this final reef light, even the smallest movements feel complete. There is no rush in this final ocean path, only calm movement and endless blue. The turtle moves through the last golden water, like a memory of the ocean itself. Above, below, and all around us, the sea settles into one quiet harmony. The turtle carries the last glow of the reef toward the open silence ahead. The sea holds every layer in balance, from the quiet shadows above to the soft lights below.
The ocean's peace is not silence alone. It is life moving gently through light.
The final horizon is waiting in warm light, and the ocean is carrying us closer with every quiet frame. The final horizon glows ahead, and the ocean carries every quiet frame into deeper peace. The fish move gently through the sea, as if each one is part of the ocean's final breath. The reef glows softly below, holding the last colors of the journey in calm water. Every small movement feels complete now, as though the sea is remembering all it has shown us. The turtle moves through the final light, steady, ancient, and completely at peace. The turtle leaves the reef behind, carrying its quiet beauty into the endless blue. The ocean holds every layer together now, with shadow, light, and life moving in one calm rhythm. The reef is gone from view, but its color remains inside the stillness of the sea. The ocean's final calm is alive with small movements, each one softened by the golden light. The horizon is almost open now, and the ocean is guiding us toward its final peaceful light. The final peaceful light opens ahead, and the ocean carries every living shape into calm. The fish move softly now, each small turn becoming part of the ocean's final breath. The reef appears like a final memory, glowing quietly before the journey leaves it behind. Every small reef motion feels complete, as if the sea is closing the circle with grace. The turtle returns in the last glow, carrying the quiet heart of the reef into the open sea. The turtle leaves the reef gently, and the ocean opens into a silence filled with life. Every layer of the ocean settles into one calm rhythm, from distant shadows to soft, living light. The reef is now a memory, but the calm it gave us continues through the sea. The ocean's final light is gentle, and every creature moves within it like a quiet blessing. The final peaceful light is almost here, and the ocean is ready to carry us into its last quiet horizon. The last quiet horizon opens slowly, and the ocean carries every living movement into peace. The fish move as softly as breath, and the sea seems to hold them in perfect calm. The reef returns in a final whisper of color, reminding us that peace is still full of life. Every small movement now feels complete, as if the ocean is closing each circle with grace.
The turtle moves through the last colors of the reef, steady, ancient, and calm.
The turtle leaves the reef behind, carrying its quiet beauty into the endless blue. The ocean holds every layer in balance, from distant shadows to soft, living light.
The reef is gone from sight, but its color remains inside the stillness of the sea.
The final light of the ocean is gentle, and every creature moves within it like a quiet memory. The last quiet horizon is opening wider, and the ocean is carrying us toward its final stillness. The ocean carries us toward its final stillness, where every life moves as softly as light. The fish no longer race through the sea. They simply belong to the calm. The reef gives one more quiet glimpse of color before the ocean opens into endless blue. Each small movement feels like a farewell, soft enough to become part of the water. The turtle moves through the fading reef light, carrying the ocean's patience into the final blue. The turtle leaves color behind, but the calm it carries continues through the ocean. Far ahead, one gentle giant passes, like a memory of the ocean's vastness. The final light gathers every memory of the journey and softens it into peace. The final stillness is drawing closer, and the ocean is ready to reveal one last peaceful horizon. One last peaceful horizon opens ahead, and the ocean holds every memory of the journey in quiet light. The fish drift toward the horizon, carrying the calm of the sea forward without a sound. The reef appears like a memory beneath the ocean, glowing softly before it fades into blue. Every small fish moves as if closing a circle, soft, complete, and peaceful. The turtle moves through the fading reef light, carrying the ocean's patience toward the final horizon. The turtle leaves the reef behind, and the whole ocean seems to open around its quiet path. The sea holds every layer together now, from the soft lights below to the distant shadows above. The reef is gone from sight, but its color remains inside the stillness of the ocean. The ocean's final peace is made from every creature, every color, and every